Hello everyone and welcome to the Wild Ginger Native Plant feature. This is a plant that I am featuring and studying during the month of February this year, and as you can see there is some snow out there right now. So it's been an unexpectedly cold and wintry February, but I am still going to share with you some of the footage as well as some photos that have been kindly I've been allowed to use and feature by some photographers of the Pacific Northwest, and they are credited below in the video link description. And I really appreciate them allowing me to share these photos with you of the beautiful Asarum caudatum.
In early March, on a very stormy day, I was able to find some wild ginger and take a few photos and some video. And there is one tiny little bud that I found ready to burst into bloom for the very first flower of the year. Wild ginger is native to the forests of Western North America. After we got back from our wild ginger outing, I got my son out of all his rain gear and ready for a nap so that I can put him down, and while he sleeps, I can get some painting done. I love painting and getting cozy in my studio corner on a rainy, stormy day. I managed to set up a studio space in one corner of my bedroom, and it has enough space for all of my artwork and filming equipment. Then this is where I make all the magic. Now let's get ready to go on a little tour through my nature journal featuring wild ginger.
I'd like to take just a quick moment and ask a favor of you. If you are liking this video, then please hit subscribe and like this video. Subscribing to this channel really helps me continue to create free content for you and share the inspiration and beauty of native plants and botanical illustration with you.
I'm going to show you what I have done for my wild ginger studies for the second native plant feature. First, I'm showing you my field journal or field notes. This is a title page I made. It does actually have some wild ginger here on it. Bring things in a little closer. I just have some scrap paper and a little dot sheet tucked in here, paper towel, and a swatch of lunar violet. And so I've done a few. This is just something I do usually before I paint something in full watercolor, just to freehand it, have fun, not worry about it. So this is my wild ginger study, Asarum caudatum wild ginger. I highlighted the common name in the same color as the petal. And then I like making these little frames because then I just have to fill up the frame with a drawing and then add writing and I'm done. So it's an easy way to do it. I use a compass to make the circle, and I use a larger pen for the name and the frames, and then I use a medium-sized nib pen for the writing, and then a very fine nib for the actual line work on the plants. And then I just do one or two washes, just something super simple to experiment with color and get to know my subject before I start on a good copy. I will at some point make a more in-depth video about this book. But that is for another video, so stay tuned. So now to my wild ginger study, and some people like the ink and wash more than the pure watercolor, and others like the pure watercolor, or some like both. So I like both for different reasons. So here was the last study feature we did on rattlesnake plantain, and you can check out the video on that feature in the links below. Here is this feature, wild ginger, and this is my title page, and I have wild ginger. Asarum caudatum is a low-growing, shade-loving perennial native to the forests of Western North America. Recognized for its heart-shaped leaves and hidden maroon flowers, this plant thrives in moist, humus-rich soils under conifer trees. Its unique ground-hugging growth and evergreen leaves make it an excellent choice for native plant gardens and woodland landscapes. True story. So the footage you saw of me with the plant and finding that little bud earlier in the video is actually the native plant, Asarum caudatum, but it is in a cultivated environment because I wasn't able to locate any in the wild, and it was snowing for quite a bit of February, so really didn't allow me to forage or find plants that way. So I have a lovely student in the watercolor garden locally here let me know her friend had some wild ginger. So we went to that person's house and had a look at it and took some pictures, and it was really fun. So this is the title page. I just have a leaf and then the full front view of the flower and a side view. The leaf and this flower here are part of the wild ginger class in the watercolor garden. So there's full-length, real-time, step-by-step video instruction on how to paint these. The next page of my feature is just some more writing. So I've kind of, for each feature, putting the family, the common names, and a little bit more about the plant. So the family is the birthwort family, genus is Asarum, and species is caudatum. Common names are Western wild ginger, British Columbia wild ginger, or long-tailed wild ginger. And if you want to read more about my experiences with wild ginger when I first found it, more botany information, you can check out my blog post, laurawatsonart.com. I have a blog post that features all the information that I write down, as well as all the pictures that you can have a longer look at in more detail of my illustrations. This is an ink line drawing of a pressed version, a pressed specimen of wild ginger. So it's a great way to get the whole plant. There's a bud and then the root system. Then I just did a background around it, and I did use Lunar Violet because I was experimenting with that. It granulates a lot, so I didn't end up wanting to use this for my botanical painting as I originally bought it for that. But then I realized some of the colors that granulate a little too much for painting plants are really great for these types of backgrounds. The next page is, I'd probably say this is my favorite spread. Clearly it took me the longest to do. This feature took me a little longer. We are now halfway through March, so I thought it would just be all February. But luckily I'm not doing it based really on the month. I'm doing it just, each feature is a feature in itself, and I'm just trying to feature the plants in and around when they can be found in bloom in the wild. And so as you saw, there is already a bloom or a little bud on that wild ginger plant. That was a week or so ago, so it's probably full bloom now. With my little guy, it's a little harder to get out into the wild. I love to wander around the woods by myself, with bear spray, of course, but it is harder with him, and he is very attractive to cougars, so I have to be careful taking him if I go out into the wild, because we just have basically wild lands here behind our house. It's not a park, it's just like wild hectares and hectares of forest, which is amazing. But I go by myself and I take bear spray. But when you have a small child and they have a shrieking, shrill voice, it attracts cougars or mountain lions, whatever you would like to refer them to. They are beautiful animals, but they can be attracted to small children. So I never take him with me unless my husband's with me and we have bear spray and we're in a group so that he is safe. So back to the painting. So this is the full plant with one flower here. And I did add a bit of a background again, and I used some light red and French ultramarine, the sort of botanical gray mix, but on a stronger concentration. And again, I like my backgrounds granulating. This, I like how it kind of gives it a bit of a textured effect. There's a lot of different veining patterns to take into account when you're painting wild ginger. It is palmate, but there's quite a bit of secondary veining visible. So this one I tried to make sure that I kind of showed that at that side angle. This page, I like how the layout worked and how it all fit together. I do lay these out usually on my computer. So I take the photos and I just roughly cut them out in Photoshop, and then I sort of move them around until it fits into a nice arrangement. It would be a lot more time consuming to do that by hand. Then I transfer the drawing onto my paper. Interesting fact, I almost threw out this page because I thought this leaf wasn't working out. This leaf I think I painted this one. I was experimenting with different yellows and blues mixing into my greens, and basically throughout the Wild Ginger feature I realized that some of my blues are a little too granulating and lifting like cobalt blue, and they make it harder to handle the paint. And so anyway, I managed to recover this leaf and I'm happy with it now. So I'm glad I did not throw it out. This is a lighter colored flower. It's still Asarum caudatum, but it's Elba, which is a variation. It is found naturally, a natural variant. So this is still native. So Asarum caudatum alba is a variety of wild ginger that features pale green to white flowers. It is naturally occurring as a color variant rather than cultivated. So there are actually a lot of cultivated Asarum type of plants you can buy as well, but I wanted to stick to the native availability. This is a cross section, I guess, of like what you would call the ovum with the little seeds inside after it's finished blooming, and then a bud, and then some different shades of flowers. And then I have this feature as well. Again, I got a little carried away. I probably wouldn't have done so many full color illustrations, but it's just the way it worked out. I really wanted to have a double spread of color, so then I had to commit to that. Then I thought that the first page would look better in full color, and then I was doing a demonstration for a collaboration I've did with John Muir Laws on his YouTube channel. I'm not sure if the video's up yet. It will be at some point, but basically we had a joint Zoom workshop and I taught real-time step-by-step how to paint this leaf here. And excuse me, I sneezed. I didn't have a lot of time in advance to plan this all out. So like literally when I taught the workshop, it was just this leaf and this leaf with nothing here and just random leaves on a page. And this one was partially painted. And then I showed the full process of this one. And then I had these random leaves on this page. So I thought, okay, well, I'll turn it into a composition. So this is all freehand drawn. Sometimes, as I've mentioned, I lay things out digitally first, but this one is the good old fashioned way. So then I just freehanded in the flowers and everything. Then I added a background. And so anyway, I got carried away. It was fun. But I am ready to move on to the next plant now. I think I am all Asarum caudatum out at this moment in time. But this is nice how it turned out, and then the premise or the sort of focus of that lesson or workshop we did was how to paint a leaf with some shine on it, which can be hard. So hopefully that'll be up soon. And that is all I have. Now, technically I should put something on this page to close off the way I create this journal, because if you go back to my rattlesnake plantain, I ended up doing a little map and some writing. And again, this I think was at the end and I wasn't completely finished it either. It is all on my blog now. You can check it out for the rattlesnake plantain one. So yeah, I'm pretty pooped out on wild ginger. So I am figuring out what I should do here. This is the front page for my next feature, which is wild fawn lilies, or not necessarily all fawn lilies, but basically Erythronium is the genus. And that includes a bunch of different lilies, and the ones that are here where I live are the white fawn lily, or known as the Easter lily. There's a pink fawn lily, and then there's also a yellow glacier lily. And I've found all those ones personally in the past. Near my house, it's more the white fawn lily. They're called Easter lilies here because they always bloom around Easter. I did find some on my walk yesterday already coming up, so it's very exciting. Just stay tuned and check out my blog article to see what happens on this page. I will make sure it's posted in there. And again, that's at laurawatsonart.com. Please do leave a comment on my blog. I restarted my blog recently and I'd love it if people commented on my posts because I put a lot of effort into them. Yes, so that is what I have so far for wild ginger in the old nature journal.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please do give this video a thumbs up. And if you would like to watch the previous native plant feature that I posted on rattlesnake plantain, which is a type of orchid, Goodyeara oblongifolio, then hit the link in the video description to check out that YouTube video as well. If you would like to learn more about how to do botanical painting in this style using my 3-step method, then I invite you to join me for my on-demand online workshop, How to Paint a Wild Rose, and you can sign up for that completely free. It's 1 hour, and I go through my entire process of painting a wild rose with you step by step in real time. So you can sign up for that as well in the video description below.